Your local view on WYCU LDTV 26, serving Charlestown, New Hampshire, the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, and central Vermont.
Coming up tonight on YCU, Sturm Ruger and the Mountain View Gun Club hit the bullseye, finally getting their gun range proposal passed by the Newport Planning Board. Could skiers and riders be fined for getting rescued off the trail? One Vermont state senator has proposed a bill to do so. And we'll get some insight on some of the key issues going on in the State House with New Hampshire State Senator David Pierce. With more news, sports, and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Welcome to our Wednesday edition of YCU. I'm David Carmichael. The Newport Planning Board on Tuesday unanimously approved a controversial application to build a new gun range. About 100 people attended 3 hours of testimony at Newport High School. Though the Planning Board approved the application to build the range, it also includes a list of conditions attached to the project. The plan to develop the 64 acres in an industrial zone in the small town of about 6,500 people is a joint venture between Sturm Ruger and the Mountain View Gun Club. Several people who met at the public hearing last night expressed their concerns about hearing gunfire at all hours of the day, a loss of property value, and environmental worries surrounding wetlands and lead from ballistics running into the water supply. Sturm Ruger said that they wanted to start construction as soon as possible. Interstate 91 northbound is now open after a 5-car pileup earlier this morning. Slick roads caused multiple cars to spin out of control and crash into each other on the highway between exits 8 and exits 9 in Windsor just after 2 a.m. A firefighter responding to the accident was injured dodging one of the cars and was taken to Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center with unknown injuries. 2 of the other drivers involved in the crash were taken to Mount Ascutney Hospital for minor injuries. Hundreds of people showed up Tuesday for a hearing on a bill that would put a moratorium on wind farm projects in the state. Those supporting the moratorium heavily outnumbered those opposing the bill. Many traveled from the northern parts of the state to explain why they think the wind turbines aren't a good fit for their communities. Supporters of HB 580 wore orange in solidarity. They said that new wind farms need to be halted until a comprehensive energy plan is established in New Hampshire. An attorney for TransCanada, which owns local hydro dams, said that the bill goes against New Hampshire's own 2007 law that said that the state should move toward renewable forms of energy to improve air quality and public health and mitigate climate change. But many testified that the power lines and windmills will reduce their property values. Governor Maggie Hassan urged lawmakers on Tuesday to act to allow casino gambling in the state, but she's facing serious resistance in her spending plan. Hassan testified that her budget is responsible and balanced while also calling a casino a good bet for New Hampshire. But some Republicans are threatening to derail her plans, saying her revenue projections are unrealistic. Testifying in support of a bill that would legalize expanded gambling in New Hampshire, the governor said a casino would create jobs and bring in revenue. The bill would dedicate millions of dollars from the expected revenues to North Country development. Vermont lawmakers are considering banning cell phones in schools. The Rutland Herald reports that Michael Marcotte, an independent from Coventry, says the legislation would cut down on bullying, cheating, and distractions in schools. So far, the bill has 12 co-sponsors. It would require school boards to ban students from using electronic devices during school hours, with exceptions of during lunch or when a teacher includes them in their lesson plans. Ken Page of the Vermont Principals Association says the bill is well intended, but believes school boards are handling the issue well on their own. The holiday week is a busy time for ski resorts as people flock to the mountains. But skiers and riders, be aware. A bill is going through the State House to possibly fine those who go out of bounds and require rescue. Having a lot of people is good for business, but it can be dangerous if they are unfamiliar with the territory and try to make their own path. Because there have been several dozen rescues in the Rutland area, State Senator Kevin Mullen introduced a bill that would bring a criminal trespass charge to those who need rescue from skiing off the designated ski trail, a fine of up to $500. Outdoor cats are posing a threat to Vermont wildlife. According to a press release done by the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, they found that cats are the single greatest cause of human-caused mortality to birds and mammals, killing an estimated average of 2.4 billion birds and 12.3 billion mammals each year in the United States. Cats can dwindle down populations of species that Vermonters value, such as ducks, rabbits, and hares, To prevent this, the Fish and Wildlife Department recommends that cats are spayed or neutered. The department also recommends that pet owners consider keeping their cat indoors, both for the protection of wildlife and the health of their animal. After the break, find out about some of the upcoming plays going on at the Northern Stage Theater in White River Junction.
The YCU News continues in a moment.